Good evening and welcome to the WART presentation of People of Beckinfield with your host Charles T. Fulbritton. Tonight, Part 2 in our interview with Dr. Kylie Spencer.
Good evening, people of Beckinfield. Charles T. Fulbritton here, and as promised, Part 2 with Dr. Spencer. Now, I believe where we left off was that I had a feeling that we had a two-parter here, because we have some complicated things going on. And if you remember, Dr. Spencer claims that her boyfriend, Dr. Reed Matthews, was kidnapped. Kidnapped is a big word, even for me. So, I think we need to find out a little bit more about what she believes in that regard, but also we need to ask some questions about Gabriel Michaels and her understanding, or what she thinks she is hearing from him. I don't know, from the distance or in a dream or whatever it might have been, and how he's exactly communicating. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Spencer and let her, in her own words, take the next step. And hopefully you all can see our new logo here, WART, on our screen, which we were supposed to have for our last episode and could not get in time, but nice looking, don't you think?
It's very nice.
Right. So, Dr. Spencer.
Well, as far as Dr. Matthews' kidnapping, he was involved with something that he wasn't giving me many details because apparently it was upsetting him greatly. And they believed absolutely that this was connected.
Let me ask you this. I've seen mentioned in a few of your videos, XR this and XR that. And my understanding is that perhaps Dr. Matthews was involved in this as well. Could you speak to that?
Of course. Dr. Matthews originally had created with me the antidote to the XR6.
Antidote meaning that it is some kind of...
It is the cure, basically, for the
XR
bacteria.
It's a bacteria. That's what I thought. Thank you for
the very
giving us
dangerous bacteria, and it actually is created using what is the same bacteria that they make anthrax out of. And it's basically a group of people that were trying to alter this bacteria and make it more deadly and more potent, that it could not be detected and could not be cured.
My goodness.
Yes.
Do you think that could, in fact, have something to do with his abduction?
Definitely. There are definite signs that this was all connected. And the XR7 that they attempted to do testing with on Beckenfielders was not
Wait
successful.
a minute. Testing on Beckenfielders? You mean the XR7 bacteria was being used on the people of Beckenfield?
Yes. The XR6 as well. We believe that both were used and tested on Beckenfield citizens. Fortunately, in the case of the XR6, there was the cure that we came up with. The XR7 was just a complete failure.
Well, I have to say that I have always believed that there was more to the sights and sounds and explosions and earthquakes and all the other stuff going on than meets the eye. And this would explain a lot of things about what people think they're seeing or hearing. It sounds like perhaps this bacteria could, in fact, induce some type of hallucinations, perhaps.
And it is a possibility. There was many different reactions, so certainly hallucinations was definitely a possibility.
Well, what is there about Dr. Gebert that, if anything, that relates to this subject?
I think it's best if we keep that confidential for now.
The Dr. Gebert issue.
Dr. Gebert was definitely involved with the XR bacterias. However, Gebert apparently was no longer involved in the XR bacteria because apparently she was fired from the project.
Well,
so
we do know this. Somehow, Dr. Gebert was responsible, at least, for evacuating the Beckenfield Theater before it exploded into a fire. So she knows something that she's not telling.
Yes, and definitely she's involved in something. Unfortunately, I don't know what her plans and involvement is right now, but...
Well, then let's just say if you want to keep this under wraps for the moment, then what about this Dr. Ryder? Now, Dr. Ryder, as you know, him and I first met in Hidden Star Lake Park. While I was filming, I noticed some commotion. Vinny advised me we had something going on behind me, and so I turn around and there's this character in a long coat chasing another guy with a hood on, and the next thing you know he zooms off in a car and he turns around and says, "Damn it, I don't know what that was about." But what's your take on that?
Well, of course, he doesn't recall any of that.
No, and that's what he said.
Personally, Charles, I mean, if it walks like a duck, it talks like a duck, it sounds like a duck, must be a duck.
Well, and of course, according to Gabriel, if it salivates like a dog, it must be a dog.
True. But, what it comes down to with Ryder is I think there's definite things he knows, he just doesn't want to admit to. And in my personal opinion, it seems like he's hiding something.
I would agree with that. In fact, if I was to hypothesize, I would say that the possibilities are good that this guy is one of those letter agencies, CIA, QMB, FBI, one of those. I think that the whole psychologist deal is some kind of cover. What do you think of that?
It makes perfect sense, Charles, when you mention that, because, thinking back to his interview, it was really fascinating how when you asked him about, the different phenomena in town, it's like, if you're a psychiatrist, anybody in that profession, you're going to have an opinion on something like that. And
he didn't.
No.
Maybe a good thing to do would be to have the three of us on together. What do you think of that idea?
I think that would be an excellent
And we could
idea.
possibly do some questioning of Dr. Ryder and maybe find out about that shampoo.
That would definitely, that's a mystery that I think many people want answered too, so.
I think so too. Charles T. Fulbritton here. I just don't know what else to say. Good night, people of Beckinfield. See you real soon.
You've been watching the WART presentation of People of Beckinfield with Charles T. Fulbritton, Part 2 of our interview with Dr. Kylie Spencer. Good night.